Many people might argue about the fact that the source of life on Earth is resembled in the presence of water. It's true. However, water is just only one of the main factors that make life possible on Earth. Another factor or another source of life on Earth is the Sun. The Sun is one of about 200 billion stars in our Milky Way galaxy. The Sun is considered to be the closest star to the planet Earth, with a distance of about 93 million miles. The light actually takes 8 minutes to travel from the Sun to finally reach Earth. Unlike any other star, the Sun started from being dust of stars that lived and died over billions of years ago. The star dust that formed the Sun is around 10 billion years old. However, the glowing Sun as we know today is around 4 billion years old. The light and heat emitted from the Sun helps keep the Earth warm and therefore guarantees the continuity of life over planet Earth. The formation of the Sun began when a medium-sized interstellar cloud containing dust and particles of dead stars that have lived billions of years ago started collapsing under the effect of the particles' internal gravity pulling each other inwards. Due to the high temperature, pressure, gravitational pull, and nuclear reactions happening in the core of the Sun as we know was formed, initiating the life on Earth.
Imagine a world without a sun. What would happen to a life on Earth if the sun suddenly disappeared with no return? One of the major importance of the presence of the sun is the light emitted from it. If there is no sun, there will be no light, and therefore there will be no days, and the Earth will sink into utter darkness throughout the whole year. Moreover, the heat generated from the sun to the Earth is very essential, and without its presence, the Earth will cool down in the cold space till it ends up being an icy cold planet-sized rock moving in space. If there was no sun, the planets that rely on its light and heat will no longer grow, and therefore our natural source of oxygen will vanish, resulting in death of billions of people around the globe. The sun produces ultraviolet rays that are blocked by the ozone layer surrounding the Earth's atmosphere. In addition to that, the sun also produces solar winds that spread across the solar system, carrying the magnetic field of the sun to form a bubble around the solar system, protecting the planets from intergalactic winds and radiations coming far away from the outer space through supernovas of huge stars or colliding stars that produces intense gamma radiations that could badly affect the life on Earth if the Earth was exposed to it. The presence of the sun in our lives is the reason why we have a lot of renewable energy sources, from solar energy to wind, geothermal, offshore wind, wave and tidal energy. Scientists have discovered that the sun generates solar flares and coronal mass ejections from its surface to the atmosphere. These solar flares are violent explosions on the surface of the sun that escapes into the space and reaches the Earth, while the coronal mass ejection is a giant magnetized bubble composed of solar material that detaches itself from the sun and escapes rapidly into space. Both flares and coronal mass ejections affect the Earth's atmosphere, as they can increase the ionization of the atmosphere as well as increase the radiation and disturbance of the upper atmosphere that would affect the airline flights and might also affect the satellites in outer space due to high drag and gravity.
any other star, the sun will die too. However, the death of any star is just the transformation of its state from one to another, where it no longer produces nuclear fusion reactions. In about 5 billion years, the fusion reaction between hydrogen atoms will stop, and fusion reaction between helium atoms will begin. Therefore, the sun will expand to reach a stage called the red giant. At this stage, the sun is unstable and starts to eject clouds around it to form a solar nebula that keeps expanding until it leaves a dense hot Earth-sized object called white dwarf. By the death of the sun, the Earth too will die by heating up at the red giant stage or cool down in the white dwarf stage. In either cases, this will take place billions of years from now, which by then we would have traveled around the galaxy and probably live on another planet.